It's another time to take you around the exciting world of sports business. My name is Jide Olaniro. Thanks for joining me. The program is Sport Exchange, and today it promises to be another exciting time as you follow me. Okay, you know the deal is that we take you through some of the news making round as far as sports business is concerned, and our dugout segment today is one issue that is critical, especially to those who follow sports in Nigeria. It's one issue we really need to talk about. And don't forget, our traditional outside is also here. And our outside this time around, we'll be looking at the African Cup of Nations, taking it as a case study for sport business. So if you are really ready to go, I'm ready to take you along. So let's get down to business. I'll go on a break, and when we return, it will be time for me to serve you the news on the show.
Fantastically finished.
Welcome back straight to the news. Edo State Deputy Governor, Mr. Philip Shuaibu, is one of the dignitaries that will be joining the Lagos State Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, in next month's Access Bank Lagos City Marathon race. Mr. Shuaibu confirmed his participation while signing his entry form. He congratulated the Governor of Lagos State for putting together the Access Bank Lagos City Marathon, the biggest one-day sports event in Africa and one of the top 10 marathons in the world in terms of prize money and participation. The Nigerian Football Federation and its marketing consultants, Badmozi Sport Marketing Limited, have issued a stand warning to all businesses and corporates engaging or planning to engage in ambush marketing and intentional deceptive advertising around the Super Eagles campaign anytime. And they have warned them, the Federation has warned all people indulging in this to desist or face legal battles. Pop, Coca-Cola and Trophy Lagerbeer were found using the Super Eagles image for deceptive advert in a statement released by the football body. Chairman and Chief Executive of Badmozi Sports Marketing Limited, Chief Mike Utemogbo, says the NFF and his company are irked by the activities of some corporates who have opted to surreptitiously reap where they did not sow by identifying with the Super Eagles brand in an illegitimate and contemptible manner. The statement confirms Coca-Cola as the official soft drinks partner of the NFF and the Super Eagles, and the company and brand with the legitimate right to identify with the team, while Nigerian Breweries PLC with its brand 33 Export is the brand that can so identify with the Super Eagles as the official beer. NFF's Director of Communication, Adedmola Alajire, added that the Federation will not take kindly to further acts of ambushing or intentional deceptive advertising from individuals or businesses that have not contributed in any way to the team's preparation for all competitions. And now we move on. Block Sports, a leading sports tech solutions provider, and Result Sports, a pioneer in digital sports, have signed a strategic partnership with the main objective to lead the way in the sports industry when it comes down to digitization and commercialization, leading by best practices and educating the industry in the process. Innovating application and solutions from Block Sports meets digital enablement as Result Sports works with some of the biggest brands and organizations around the world, with the likes of AS Roma, FC Barcelona, Borussia Dortmund, Shakhtar Donetsk, the DFB, OFB, EHF, CEV, and UEFA. The CEO of Block Sports, Samir Serik, the CEO Vladimir Liluka, expressed their excitement about the partnership, while Mario Leo of Result Sports says the partnership is designed to be mutually supportive while aiming at the sports marketplace by the two market leaders in their respective fields. Vero Communications, the agency which helped cities including Rio de Janeiro and Paris land the hosting rights for the Olympic Games, has closed its doors after more than 15 years in business. The decision comes just over 3 years after its founder and chairman, Mike Lee, a distinguished figure within the Olympic movement, died at the age of 61. Lee founded Vero after London won the right to host the 2012 Olympic and Paralympic Games and built it into one of the key strategic communications firms in the sporting world. The Briton and his company spearheaded successful bids for the Olympics and Paralympics from Rio 2016, Pyongyang 2018, and Paris 2024, as well as the Buenos Aires 2018 Youth Olympics. Vero, founded in 2006, also successfully worked towards rugby sevens and surfing, gaining their places on the Olympic program and on numerous presidential and brand-building campaigns. La Liga, the organizing body responsible for Spanish soccer's two top tiers, has appointed Octavi Honoro as international director. Honoro, who initially joined La Liga in 2017, has spent the last 3 years with the organization working as an international deputy director and head of La Liga Global Network, a project tasked with growing Spanish soccer's reach. In his new role, Honoro will continue to lead LLGN and its 44 delegates across the globe while heading up the coordination of La Liga's 11 offices worldwide and overseeing the international strategy of the organization. Disney-owned sports media giant ESPN has retained the South American broadcast rights to Premier League until 2025. Insiders in the know say ESPN saw of Warner Media bid to renew its contract with English soccer's top flight, which covers Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Ecuador, Paraguay, Peru, Uruguay, and Venezuela. The deal runs from the start of the 2022-2023 season and expires at the end of 2024-2025 campaign. Premier League lands on Paramount Plus in Mexico and Central America. Tiger Woods is backing a special purpose acquisition company that wants to raise $150 million in an initial public offering to acquire a sports technology firm. In a prospectus filed with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, Sports and Health Tech Acquisition Corporation says it intended to target a sports technology firm valued between $600 million and $1 billion, citing the huge potential of the industry. Woods is a lead investor in the project and is joined by former world #1 tennis player Caroline Wozniacki and her husband David Lee, a former National Basketball Association player. That's it for the news. We'll go on a quick break, and when we return, it will be time for the Dugout segment. My guest is standing by.
Fantastically finished.
Welcome back, straight and now to the Dugout segment. The leadership conundrum of the Nigerian Basketball Federation has pitted it against the global governing body FIBA. A letter issued by FIBA to the Minister of Sports, Sunday Dare, and the former NBBF President Musa Kida announced the suspension of Nigeria Basketball Club side Royal Hoopers from the prestigious Basketball Africa League, which is expected to start in March. Quoting the second paragraph of the letter, which states, as the Nigeria Basketball Federation has not confirmed that it has, by its own initiative, ensured the effective organization of a regular national championship this season, FIBA Africa cannot therefore authorize the participation of a Nigerian club in the BAL this year. End of quote. And that is how the Nigerian Basketball Federation started a new year in a crisis, especially a crisis that is spitting it with a bigger body, the global body FIBA. And joining me to look at this particular incessant sports federation crisis as it affects governance is sports law and governance experts all the way from United Kingdom, London to be precise. Kelvin Omojoene joins me. Kelvin, happy to see you again this year. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well, thank you. Happy to be here again.
What now? I'm aware you know that there is a crisis that is rocking the Nigerian Basketball Federation right now, and that is where we are right now. The global body, that's the FIBA, has kind of intervened, but the intervention appears to be halting activities as regards that federation. And where do we go from here? Nigeria, most times, especially sports federations in Nigeria, usually have this incessant crisis, quarterly, yearly. In fact, there is hardly no time we're not discussing crisis with any of this our sports federation. What is the way out? How can we stem the tide, Kelvin?
It is an unfortunate situation, and truth be told, it's something that has really stifled sports development in the country. If you look at basketball for the past 5 or so years, the national teams have made great strides. The D Tigers, the Olympics, they've done well. The Continental Championships and the D Tigresses, the females have done awesome. Even for the African Championship, they've won it thrice in a row now. And it is sad that we cannot replicate these international successes on the domestic scene. And that is because of the crises that keep happening. Basketball, football, we've seen it time and time again. And I think looking at the possibility of resolving it, a lot has to do with the international sports federations, if you ask me, because they have the ultimate responsibility for standardizing sports across the globe. And going back a few years, when in the middle of this NBBF crisis, when they were in court, I recall that there was a time that the court ruled that it was the International Federation, FIBA, that could determine which faction was the legitimate one or which election was the legitimate one. So we need to really go back to these international federations and look. They need to look at what can be done. And I think it is not enough to say, okay, give us your constitution and then we approve it. No, the federations, the international sports federations need to look beyond what is tabled as a constitution. What are the governance structures? I think we do not have in Nigeria governance structures for our sport federations that are fit for purpose. The system where they function as appendages of the Ministry of Sports, receive funding and what have you, then when it comes to administrative issues, they claim to want to be autonomous. It's an uneasy relationship. So we need to look at that governance structure. What is their corporate structure? What is their legal personality? How are they set up in a way that is fit for purpose and can help them function efficiently?
Who will take the bull by the horn to make sure that we have this governance structure in place? Because if somebody or everybody thinks that somebody will do it, at the end of the day, nobody does it. So who is going to take the bull by the horn? Or what's your advice?
I'd say in the circumstances, the international sports federations have that responsibility. And by the statutes and the regulatory framework, they have the power and they have that responsibility. Because if you look at the way sport is regulated in association terms, the international sports federations are able to, as we've seen in football, set up, say, a normalization committee where the national governing body cannot function as required. But you might not necessarily have to interfere in terms of setting up a normalization committee. Just have the basic requirements. For instance, not just looking at their constitution, what is their governance structure? I think the way international sports federations make certain requirements a condition for funding and for recognition, they need to also make corporate structure, corporate governance, one of the fundamental criteria. So ultimately, these international federations, they know how these frameworks work all across the world. And I think they need to require same standards from those in every single part, even in our case. So to put it in practical perspective, I don't think it is efficient that sports federations, national sports federations, function as maybe parastatals under the Ministry of Sports, because there will always be that conflict of autonomy. Require them to identify their stakeholders and come up with a corporate structure, whether as a limited liability company, a non-profit, incorporated by trustees, just have, based on what will suit their particular circumstances, come up with a corporate structure that will give them a legal personality and, help them function like a business. Because truth be told, at the elite level, sport is largely business. You need that business efficiency, business mindedness. You need commercial viability. And one of the first starting points is, what is your legal or corporate structure?
For someone who also has a law background, do you think Nigeria, especially Nigeria now, do you think we should have a localized courts arbitration system? Do you think because of this consistent disagreements that we usually experience?
Well, that is a no-brainer. The way sports is organized now, you definitely need the sport-specific system of resolving disputes. Because going to courts is not efficient. See what's happening with basketball. For about 2-3 years, the court case had crippled the league because of the disputes. And at the end of the day, the case was thrown out. Looking back, you see that from the onset, there was a fundamental issue with the case, but it still was able to cripple domestic basketball for years before that issue came to the fore and the case was eventually thrown out. But the peculiarity about having, say, National Court of Arbitration and all is that they recognize the peculiarities of sports and the fact that disputes need to be resolved in a timeous manner. And you have the needed expertise in such tribunals to resolve the sports disputes in a timely manner and taking account of the technical issues, technical nature of the dispute. So the word is efficiency. It just provides an efficient system that prevents what you've seen in taking sports cases to civil courts.
There we go. Do you think we are matured? Because I think we need to see business, sports as business before maybe we begin to consider special courts or special arbitration system for that. Do we think we are ripe? You are also a stakeholder in sports. You are a sports administrator. Do you think sports is so huge already in Nigeria for us to consider the arbitration? Sincerely, that's this. I'm putting it to you.
I think it's like chicken and egg. If we wait for sports to grow before we think of resolving disputes properly, we might be, shooting ourselves in the foot. Because if we think from the perspective of the private sector, a business person who wants to invest, there are certain things you want to see. Take the MMMs and all these, Ponzi schemes. One thing that puts the informed person off is the fact that if this goes bust, there is no way I can recover my money. There's the absence of dispute resolution mechanism. So if I were to invest in sport, the fact that there is no way for me to resolve a dispute if it arises could hinder me from investing. So I think in as much as, bottom line is, I think having that dispute resolution system is an enabler. We do not need to wait for court to attain that level of commercial viability, because dispute resolution is something that helps it to attain that level.
All right. Finally, before I let you go, it seems that we don't understand, because the reason why we have this conversation is for us to look at critically the issue of sports governance in Nigeria. It seems that we don't understand the symbiotic relationship between sports and funding. Funding as regards sponsorship, marketing and all that thing. I think it's better you let us know briefly before we call it a day on the show.
Well, the thing is, I think everyone knows that funding is key. So the point is, why are we not getting that funding? You've seen sports-related businesses give funding to non-sport actors. You've seen musicians, you've seen shows, reality shows, get money from sport betting companies, and endorsement deals. But why are the sports participants, players, clubs, not getting these things? Why are people not investing in sports? We've seen investment even from government in the music sector, in the film industry. It's because of the level of organization and the output that these industries. So the question is, why is sport not getting it? Sport is way, way, way more popular than most of the industries. So you just need to fix that governance issue and become attractive. That's just it. Everyone knows that funding is key. Everyone knows sports should get funding, but the sport deserve funding. That is the thing. How can you make sport the brand that will be attractive to funding?
Wow, thank you very much. This is one conversation we will keep alive, so that we can keep having it until we get it right. Kelvin Omojene, sports law and governance expert, joins me from UK, London, today on the show. I'm really grateful for your appearance. Thanks once again, Kelvin.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Hope to see you again, and I wish you all the best. That was Kelvin Omojene, sports law and governance expert, and we were looking at how to tackle the incessant sports federation crisis in Nigeria. Okay, and but we'll go on a break quickly before we go, and then I'll come to our side segments quickly before we go. We'll go on a short break.
Fantastically finished.
All right, yes, quickly before we go, outside segment, it's taken from the tweet of a sports consultant, a globally renowned sports consultant, Ricardo Fort. By the way, he's the founder of Sports by Fort, a consulting firm for athletes, sponsors, marketing firms globally. And it's reflecting the African Cup of Nations and the need to understand the business dynamics of sports. And let's look at the tweets. The tweet reads, Comoros beats Ghana 3-2 at the CAF Online, that's the AFCON. Every time a small country beats a big one, fans rejoice and sponsors suffer. A good sponsorship return on investment, that is ROI, relies heavily in big markets playing the tournament as long as possible. So when big names like Nigeria, superstars, Nigeria, Ghana, Algeria, Senegal, all the big names, when they're still in competition, especially of the magnitude of AFCON, that sponsors smile home. They're happy because there is a return for their investment. So understand this and know peace as far as sports is concerned. That's it. Don't forget social media platforms, YouTube, TV360 Nigeria, like and subscribe to TV360 Nigeria on YouTube. And of course, you can follow me also on every social media handle. Jide Olaniran is my name, or Jide Sports on Twitter. Until I come your way next time, keep enjoying the best of sports.